Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're back with the Cocoon Era and we're going to cover X-Men issue 25 and Immortal X-Men issue 14. The first comic is going to focus on Kitty Pryde and the second one on Sebastian Shaw, where we have both characters going through drastic changes after what happened during the third Hellfire Gala. When Orchis attacked, Nimrod killed a bunch of mutants and basically they destroyed Krakoa. So now we have three situations for our merry mutants. Some have been captured, others are on the run. And we have a third very large group that has been teleported God knows where, which I think is the White Hot Room, which would be the place of origin of the Phoenix Force. So the first issue starts off with Kitty Pryde, who is reeling from what went down during the Hellfire Gala. And literally, she's going to go on a killing spree. She's going to take the battle to Orchis. We discover that she had stashed away at the X-Mansion 2 katanas with a little note from Ogun. So that's a really awesome deep cut there. Because way back in the day, Ogun actually had possessed Kitty Pryde and made her into this ultimate assassin. So it's super cool to see this revelation where we see that Ogun had this corrupting effect on Kitty, that she was able to keep it in check. But now with the gloves off with Orchis, she just lets it take over. Shadowcat is back in full force, and we get a flashback that after the Hellfire Gala, Kitty had fallen through one of the Cocoon gates, that now since everything had changed, she can go through the gates. And she found herself face to face with a squadron of Orchis agents. And she went full on psycho. She started murking all these agents. And I have to say, Kitty Pryde, when she lets loose, she is scary. The way she uses her phasing powers to take down these guys, it's freaking brutal. There's even a couple of very visceral moments during the battle. And I love the build up to this situation, even though there's a little bit of a disconnect from immediately how everything ended with the Hellfire Gala and this whole situation that we have with these Orchis agents. Because at the end of that one shot, like, Kitty was still cracking jokes even though she saw a ton of her friends being killed. And then we jump into this issue where she goes full on Kill Bill. And I do enjoy this part of the story quite a bit. It would have been super cool to see Ogun's return and Ogun being like this bad influence within her mind, like telling her to keep on killing and stuff like that. That would have been really, really awesome. Because I've always really liked Ogun as a Wolverine villain, and in many ways he's sort of been built up to be like also Kitty's arch nemesis. I think we even had a mini-series where she had to deal with Ogun on her own. That aside, what we get to see in this issue is that Cyclops has been captured by Orchis. He's being interrogated by Dr. Stasis, and when you see that Orchis have sewn Scott's eyes shut, you're like, holy cow. Then the story cuts to Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, who had returned to life right before the whole killing during the Hellfire Gala. That's when we got the whole revelation that she was a mutant after all, and she was pretty much the last mutant to ever be resurrected. The thing is that she returns to her family, and with help from Emma Frost, who manipulates the minds of her family, they never realized that she had been gone for such a long time, or that she was even killed in the first place. Then the story cuts to the fact that the children of the Vault, since Forge is not around to take care of them not escaping the Vaults in the first place, are getting ready to make the big return, and that's going to be real bad news, not only for our mutants, for everyone on planet Earth. Then we jump to the Immortal X-Men issue that, as I mentioned earlier, focuses on Sebastian Shaw. Now, the fascinating thing that we see here is that Shaw uses Forge's depowering gun to remove his mutant powers. He doesn't want any heat from Orchis, and to his total and utter surprise, due to Emma Frost and Kingpin's maneuvering within the Hellfire Club, he's been kicked out. I also think that Mother Righteous had a little bit of a hand in that too. The thing is that he's left without his fortune and no more backing from the Hellfire Club. But what you see in this issue is what makes Shaw tick. that he's just obsessed with power and money. And even though now basically doesn't have anything, he's sort of delighted that he has to climb back up the ladder. He really likes the whole idea of the struggle. And this really helps you understand his whole motivations during the Krakoan era, where you would always see him maneuvering and trying to gain power over others. Shaw wants power for the sake of power. It's like a really weird OCD. That's it. And to drink good whiskey. And less interestingly, we see in this issue Xavier, who is totally broken over this whole situation. He's on what's left of Krakoa, a totally broken man, and just astounded how he was played by Orchis. And at least for me, like, I don't feel bad for Xavier, at least in this story, because he was a total dick during the Krakoan era. He was really pompous and arrogant and just full of hubris. So we're gonna leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.